Spoiler alert for X-Men Dark Phoenix, the last of the Fox X-Men films. This series has been going on longer than I've actually been alive. X-Men Mutant Frogger is a film directed by longtime writer and producer of the series, Simon Kinberg. This is Kinberg's first time directing, and this can be extremely noticeable. I'll just say it outright. This movie is kind of the definition of superhero meh. Sure, it's adequate in terms of its technical elements. The Hans Zimmer score is kind of kick-ass at times, as well as the cinematographer does a good job. It's all adequate, I'd say. But on a story level, this movie's just so freaking boring. It feels inconsequential, although it's supposed to be the final Fox film, and it lacks real spectacle apart from the third act, which has been confirmed to do every shot. Feels almost different from the rest of the movie. The tone, the characters act different, or they try and force these realizations on characters that don't really feel like they fit. After Jean Grey gets the Phoenix Force, the movie just has her going from character to character until she kind of gets headaches and leaves. And it's this really poor pacing pattern that makes this movie so boring and arduous to get through. Nothing really happens throughout this entire second act. The thing is that the X-Men themselves have really nothing to do in this movie. When I refer to X-Men, I'm trying to talk about like the core team, Cyclops, Storm, Nightcrawler, Quicksilver, Jean Grey, but as been through the rest of this First Class saga, it feels more like it's Professor X, Beast, Mystique, and Magneto's movie. But they all either act wildly out of character, or we've just seen all of this before. Professor X is totally selfish, and it makes him really annoying, and you don't like him as a character. And it's done on purpose, but just feels forced for the sake of the plot. Beast is kind of annoying and makes really brash decisions. Mystique never uses her power, and you can tell Jennifer Lawrence is just checked out, and Magneto lives on the lamest version of Genosha you've ever seen, and just repeats the same character arc he's had in all 4 films. People complained after Apocalypse that they'd seen that already, and they just repeat it. They don't do anything creative with the characters in this goddamn vengeance arc that he's had in all these movies. And while every actor does give their job, and they do convey, and you don't feel at any times that they've checked out or they're cheesy, aside from Jennifer Lawrence, it really does help this film try to seem important, but it's all surface level, and once you can see past the actors' facades, it's really a shit show. To go into spoiler territory, the third act is totally a ripoff of Captain Marvel. The reshoot was probably 100% the same, because not only do you have shape-shifting aliens who come to Earth looking for her, essentially overpowered, goes Super Saiyan mode person, which is fine, except for it conveys one of my biggest gripes, which is the lame-ass antagonist being this alien species. It says something when the lamest part of your superhero film is that shape-shifting aliens are the most boring part. They just turn to generic super soldiers at the end who are cannon fodder for the X-Men to show off their abilities. And these Skrull ripoffs are just boring and bland. They never use their cool powers. And as well as in the end, X-Men Civil War just needs more life into it, and it could have done with larger stakes and scales to end the series. They tried to make this movie small and personal, but because the Jean Grey important characters have had only X-Men Apocalypse to really be developed, you really don't care for Storm, Cyclops, Nightcrawler, or Quicksilver, who gets taken out of the goddamn fight in an instant. He trips and he's out of the entire movie. Really, Hollywood does not know how to write speedsters into movies or TV shows. Whatever, Quicksilver, a fan favorite from all the other films, has his moment in all those films. Absolutely nothing to do here. Did you see this movie? Did you enjoy it? Judging by the box office, I'll say you probably didn't. But if you did, make sure to drop a comment down below with your favorite or least favorite moment in this film or X-Men in the series. And if not, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. I'm going to give Dark Phoenix 1 failed franchise out of 4.